Hi, I'm Joan H Richardson, and I write books on the Word of God. My most recent is Unveiled, the revelation of Jesus Christ, and the ancient secrets of Daniel. And so I'm talking to you about Unveiled. This is one of a series of videos, which, if you begin at the beginning, you should be able to follow right on through. Now, you understand how videos are, and you can pause them. You can see them again and again. But right now, what we're going to do is we're picking up from where we left off, and where we left off had to do with the second beast in chapter 13 of Revelation. Okay, now the first beast, as you know, came out of World War II. It is the Allied nations of the Big Three, they were called in World War II, when they took over Berlin, the wounded head of the dragon. And heads, as we have learned, are capital cities. Heads that are mountains are capital cities of empires. These are the heads that are mountains, capital cities of empires, out of chapter 17 of Revelation. So we're following them through. They actually began in chapter 12, where we said all seven heads had crowns. All the kings were there for their capital cities. And that was the beginning of it all in Egypt. Now we're going from Egypt all the way to where five had fallen. Five of the kings had fallen. And we just have these heads there in chapter 17. When the five kings had fallen, Rome was the sixth head. And that was at the time of Christ. The Roman Empire was there in the time of Jesus, and previous to that, of course. So we have these six empires thus far, and then there would be a seventh that would overtake the sixth. And he would only remain for a brief time. Well, that was France. Napoleon, of all people, overtook the Holy Roman Empire of the German nation, and that's what it was called because most of its kings after 962 were German. And so the Germans considered it their First Reich. The Second Reich was Bismarck's 39 states, which were called the German Federation of Prussia. The Third Reich, of course, came with Adolf Hitler, who rose after the 10 horns were given their kingdoms, after the 10 kings received their nations, which was after World War I, the Treaty of Versailles in World War I. Okay, so then we go from World War I to a pause between World War I and World War II. I'm not going to get into the details. It's a very exciting pause. And then we have Adolf Hitler rising just 12 years after the 10 horns rise. A little horn rises in Daniel chapter 7, and that little horn is the dragon. The dragon is in Adolf Hitler, and he speaks by the man. He's the one with the eyes and the pompous words and so forth. It's the dragon in the man. So now we know that if a beast has a mouth, he has a man. Okay? The beast in a man rules through the man. In Germany, he was a little horn, having eyes like a man, speaking pompous words. Next, he's diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings, according to Daniel chapter 7, verse 24. Okay? So this is what we're looking at now. After the beast rises as the 4th kingdom, following the Third Reich, we have the alliance of the Big Three, which created the UN, and the dragon gave his capital city he gave his throne, you see, to that those allies. And those allies watched over Berlin until it was finally healed when the USSR went bankrupt and had to leave. And then the wall came down, the Berlin Wall came down, and the city was healed. The head was healed. It was the head of the dragon. Have I made myself perfectly clear? I understand it. At least somebody does, right? So here's the story. So here we are in Daniel chapter. Here we are in Revelation 13:12. He exercises all the authority of the first beast in his presence and causes the earth and those who dwell in it to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed. Two different first beasts. Tell you about it. Two beasts appear above. The beast that rises after 10 horns returned as a religious kingdom. It exercises all the authority of the one before him by shaming the three. This is the two-horned lamb. This is the one that says that he saw beast rising after the first beast rose, which was the allied nations. And so the dragon gave the beast his throne. So then, afterward, a two-horned lamb rises. And the two-horned lamb speaks like the dragon. And he will subdue the three. You see? He's not going to pluck them up by the roots, but he will subdue them. He will suppress them. He will put them to shame. Okay? So he will overpower them. And then he uses all the authority of the first beast in his presence and causes the earth and those who dwell in it to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed. It's an interesting play on words. I believe it is. Two beasts appear above, the beast that rises after the 10 horns. After the 10 horns returned a second time by the Treaty of Paris. Okay, this happened, and the 10 horns returned. These horns are 10 kings that were in Europe. Okay, and they returned. They returned to their places in Europe. Some of the borders were changed, but those 10 kings returned. And then afterward, this two-horned lamb rises. Well, what is this two-horned lamb? Well, it's a religious beast. It has two leaders. It has two religions merging. Do you see this happening? Is this happening? Of course it is. We have to be so careful to stay with the Bible. Keep the Bible's words in your heart. Don't believe the teachers. So many of them are misguiding you. So many. I'm in a struggle. I'm in a great struggle because there are so many false teachings misguiding professing believers. We have to be true believers. We have to really believe the word. And so here we have it. Here we have it. So we've said that the dragon's head, the serpent's head, has been bruised. It was bruised in World War II. And the saints who are Jews in Daniel chapter 8:25, the saints are the Jews. And in chapter 7, they received their kingdom. Well, yes, they returned to their land after World War II. And the dragon's head, the serpent's head, was bruised. In fact, it had a deadly wound. It didn't look like it would be restored. Berlin was obliterated. And then it was taken partly by the USSR in conflict with the free nations of America and Great Britain. And so there you have that happening. And it didn't look like he was going to make it, but he did, because the beast healed the dragon's head. Now, here's the thing. We have presumed that the serpent is destroyed when his head is bruised, but a lake of fire awaits his destruction. By his head's deadly wound, the Lord restored the Jewish nation. Major victory, because the kingdom belongs to the Lord. Here. In 2009, at the Dome of the Rock, Benedict declared, "Here the paths of the world's three great monotheistic religions meet, reminding us of what they share in common." That sounds friendly, doesn't it? Ahmadinejad would win the Pope's favor. This was previous president of Iran. Answering a request of the Vatican, he released 15 British sailors who'd allegedly entered Iran's sea by half a kilometer. He presented its Easter gift on April 4th, 2010. October 24th, 2011, Fox News headlines said, previewed its radical changes. Vatican calls for new world economic order by a Pontifical Council for Justice and Peace, a world political authority, universal jurisdiction, and fair distribution of the world's wealth. November 2014, Francis entered the Blue Mosque, prayed with an imam, and kissed a Quran, saying, "We all worship the same God." But Islam disputes the Bible and denies the Son of God, Jesus, who shed his blood for us, then died and rose to life again. Most Jews also deny him, whom their prophets foretold. For centuries, men have morphed the Christian faith. Then in January 2017, the Pope met Mahmoud Abbas of the PLO, a king with no kingdom, giving him an embassy in Vatican City. A perfect match. In 1932, modern Saudi Arabia was founded. Her crown prince acts on behalf of her seventh king as an imam. If Israel receives him, he'll succeed with the world as gain. After the UN, another beast rises. The number of the beast is the number of a man. Its number, 666, is the number of one of its two beasts. Hitler said the world would rotate on the Rome-Berlin axis, thus the epithet Axis powers. Was Lucifer a man? When he speaks as a man, he sure looks like the man. Men who receive him take an ice-cold death. He refused to free his prisoners, but was sent to perdition when the Jews left his prisons and returned to the land God had promised long ago. Another beast rises out of the earth after the world wars. He takes the reins of dominion from the beast that rose before him. All who receive the beast's onoma, or title, have one mind. By receiving the mark, they have one mind with the beast and are cursed forever. The mark seduces their minds to be one with the dragon, irreversibly condemning its takers. For God did give into their hearts to do its mind, and to make one mind, and to give their kingdom to the beast, till the sayings of God may be complete. Revelation 17:17, Young's literal translation, about the 10 kings of the scarlet beast in 17.